Perusing the pages of our history, there are moments that cause us to pause. We gasp and wonder at the ingenuity that broke the laws of gravity so we could fly as far as the moon, and marvel at the sheer resilience of humanity to rise from the abyss of world wars and global plagues. The question is, though, what will our children's children see when they read the story of the COVID-19 pandemic? There is no doubt that this is a story of unspeakable tragedy, of hundreds of thousands of loved ones dying without the comfort of being able to say goodbye, of economies being diminished and squeezed into recession, of a global pause on institution-based education, of an upending of our whole way of life. And for countries like India and Bangladesh, it is a story of what happens when, in the midst of a lethal pandemic, nature serves up a havoc-wreaking cyclone like Amphan. Today, India is facing an estimated $13 billion worth of cyclone damage. At least 13 million people have been affected, some losing homes, crops and lands, and the cyclone has sadly claimed more than 100 lives. And Asia is not the only Commonwealth region forced to face the deadly brew of disease, disaster and economic crisis. In Africa, the threat of drought, floods and locusts have been piled onto the government's already full plate of challenges. In the Pacific and the Caribbean, vulnerable, exposed small island states are bracing themselves for record-breaking cyclones and a monstrous Atlantic hurricane season with 33% more storms than average. Before COVID-19, many of these countries were already beset with numerous developmental challenges and encumbered by barely bearable debt levels, often the result of external shocks to their economies, such as natural disasters. So surely, this is a moment in our history that will cause future generations to pause and scrutinize our actions and reactions. But I am hoping that my great-great-grandchildren will marvel at the sheer resilience of humanity to rise from this abyss. I'm hoping they will be inspired by the heroism and sacrifice of doctors, nurses, paramedics, orderlies, supermarket and transport staff, and all the other essential workers who braved the pandemic to keep the rest of us alive. And I'm hoping they will see the power of the Commonwealth spirit of altruism and collaboration. Indeed, coronavirus crept up on us in the midst of growing skepticism about the effectiveness of multilateral cooperation, reminding us that it's a small world after all, and eliminating any doubt about the need to collaborate across borders. And these multiple and overlapping challenges are now demanding that this spirit of interconnectedness must also inspire our problem-solving approaches. This is a lesson that the Commonwealth has had to learn very early on, mainly because of the vast diversity of challenges and opportunities represented in our membership. Actually, it is rooted in our shared values and principles and our mutual respect and understanding, which has both social and economic benefits, such as our trade advantage. We are guided by the firm belief that at the heart of our diversity, our cultures, our races, our religious beliefs, our genders, is the powerful connecting force of humanity that joins us together. And like the human body, when one member is damaged, every other part is affected. This was aptly articulated by former Prime Minister of India, Pandit Nehru, when he said in 1949, "We join the Commonwealth, obviously because we think it is beneficial to us and to certain causes in the world that we wish to advance. The other countries of the Commonwealth want us to remain because they think it is beneficial to them." The Commonwealth is a method, a desirable method, and a method that brings a touch of healing with it. In this world which is today sick and which has not recovered from so many wounds inflicted in the last decade or more, it is necessary that we touch upon the world's problems, not with passion and prejudice, and with too much repetition of what has ceased to be, but in a friendly way, and with a touch of healing. These profound sentiments were later echoed by the head of the Commonwealth, Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, in 1953, when she described her vision for the Commonwealth as an entirely new conception, built on the highest qualities of the spirit of man, friendship, loyalty, and the desire for freedom and peace. So we have long understood that nothing short of a robust, multinational, multi-sector, and multi-agency strategy can drive innovation and provide solutions to our complex and multi-dimensional challenges. But we also know that for these measures to be fully effective, we must be willing to come together and work with one mind toward a common goal, and also to protect and empower our greatest resource, our people, particularly vulnerable or marginalized groups. So we have been working with education departments to improve curricula, teaching methods, and technical and vocational options to ensure that everyone has access to quality education. This includes collaboration with universities and partners, such as the Commonwealth of Learning, on online learning resources, which is becoming ever more important as we face novel challenges such as coronavirus. We have prioritised programmes to harness the vibrancy and genius of the youth, who make up 60% of our population. Our empowerment initiatives include entrepreneurial programmes, recognition awards, and our Innovation Hub, a virtual platform for innovative ideas and projects. Nitesh Kumar Jangir, a young innovator and entrepreneur from India, and one of the winners of my Commonwealth Secretary General's Innovation for Sustainable Development Awards, has created a neonatal breathing support device. It maintains respiration and oxygenation in premature babies with respiratory distress syndrome. This is truly inspiring, and it is reflective of the principle of constant innovation and responsiveness to emerging challenges that govern all the Commonwealth's programmes and initiatives. This is why, coming into office, my focus was not just on addressing 21st century problems, it was also about preparing to navigate the waves and swells that the 22nd century might bring. Therefore, I firmly believe that we can dictate the outcome of our story. It may never be a happily ever after ending. The challenges will come, But as I often say, we can either swim together or drown separately. In other words, to defeat Goliath challenges like coronavirus, disasters, and economic crises, to survive and once again flourish, we have to work together. I believe this pandemic can be a story of innovation and discovery as we find new ways to communicate, teach, trade, and travel. In my own life and in the tenure as Secretary General, I have often been inspired and sustained by the wisdom of the great Mahatma Gandhi, that strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. And I want to take the opportunity to congratulate our 54 governments and their population for their amazing strength and resilience and for their success in these incredibly difficult circumstances. I want to assure you that our experts are working closely with our partners and stakeholders in all sectors to support the around-the-clock efforts of all our governments to implement strong, effective response strategies. I am confident that this will be our story of triumph over adversity, but only if we continue in a spirit of collaboration and make the right choices. History does not just happen. It is made up of a sequence of deliberate actions and decisions. So I hope that this pandemic will lead us to make good choices and avoid past pitfalls, so that coming generations can look back and say, thank you for giving us a future.